Welcome to the Straightforward Connection with Tommy. This video is on your TNA Impact Wrestling and some other news going around the wrestling world with some other results as well. And the first is from September 22nd, 2012, following on the results of the Northeast Wrestling event that took place on this past Saturday in Fishkill, New York, at the Dutchess Stadium. For more details, you can visit Phil Strum's Under the Ring blog at blogs.poughkeepsiejournal.com /Under the Ring. And the first match was Adam Page pinning Caleb Konley. Match number 2, Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Bill Carr defeated Man Scout Jake Manning and Mr. TA when Duggan pinned Manning. Match number 3, the Beautiful People, that's Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, defeated Madison, Rayne, and Rosita. That was your former TNA knockouts match. Vader, it's Vader time, defeated Tony Nese. That's the newcomer that was had just joined TNA and he got injured recently, and it's like his first or second match back from his injury. And match number 5, Brian Anthony defeated Matt Taven. And I believe Matt Taven was formerly in WWE at one time. And it was probably developmental, and they released him. And a Falls Count Anywhere match to retain the Northeast Wrestling title. And match number 6, the MFer Matt Hardy defeated Sami Callihan. Match number 7 was the main event. Ausanio and Dustin Runnels, formerly known as Goldust, defeated Romeo, Roselli, and Luke Robinson, formerly of Tough Enough. And Romeo, I think, was one of the heartthrobs that was also in WWF. And notes that Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper had appeared for autograph sessions during that event. Hogan also delivered an in-ring promo that Piper interrupted, and they eventually shook hands. The Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, also made an appearance. And there was also a video tribute to WWE Hall of Famer Jerry King Lawler. Frank Udy spoke with WWE about his father, Psycho Sid Udy, following his run on the CBS reality show Big Brother 14. Honestly, quoting by saying, honestly, I knew my dad was always going to root for me, no matter what I'm doing. Frank told the WWE website he's always going to support me, even though we might not talk as much as we used to. I know it's not exactly the type of the show. I was a little surprised to find out that he got into as much as he did. Then he got also quoted by saying, I am who I am because of my parents. I owe pretty much all of it to them. I was really close with my Nana and have been for the last couple of years. He said that they have shaped and molded me into the person I am today. I absolutely have them to thank for being the player I was in the game. And you can read the rest of the interview at WWE.com /inside /over the ropes /Frank Sid Big Brother 14 /260-55316. Frank lasted 62 days on the Big Brother show, and he was named America's favorite house guest. He noted that he hasn't spoken with his parents since the show's finale last week, yet he intends to do so soon. The following matches are advertised for October 6th, House of Hardcore event in Poughkeepsie, New York, at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. Very, very similar to the previous results from Under the Ring show. Okay, the matches are scheduled as follows. Former WWE star Adam Edge Copeland appears. Rhino versus Sami Callihan. Paul London and Brian Kendrick return for tag team action versus the Young Bucks. So you get WWF versus TNA. Or Impact Wrestling, or now in Ring of Honor. Jazz returns to action versus Winner. formerly of TNA, Impact Wrestling. And the Masterpiece, Chris Mordetsky, has a Master Lock Open Challenge. And Maurice has a meet and greet with the fans. Other wrestlers that are advertised for the show are Mike Knox, Anthony Tony Nese, Mikey Ripwreck, formerly of ECW, Big Daddy V, formerly of WWF, WWE, and Tommy Dreamer, Carlos Colon, that's Carlito, Eddie Kingston from Ring of Honor, the Steiner Brothers return to action, Hale Collins, Sean DeVary, who was just recently, I think, no, that was Sanjay Dutt. Okay. Well, Sean DeVary's in action. The Big XLG, a.k.a. Luke Gallows, and the Sandman. This will be the debut show for the promotion that Tommy Dreamer has founded. And it's a loaded lineup and extremely rare indie appearances for Dreamer's longtime friend, Edge. You can find out more about the promotion and ticket information at houseofhardcore.net. Former Atlanta Brave standout pitcher John Rocker has made his pro wrestling debut at a benefit event for homeless veterans at the Hateville Recreation Center outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Rocker teamed with Rocky King and defeated the team of Mr. Hughes and Chris Silvers. For those that don't know, Mr. Hughes used to be of WWF fame, WCW fame, and is a trainer for the Atlanta Indy Federation that I previously did a video on from last week. Chris Silvers, who was managed by Dave Wills. Rocker pinned Silvers following a clothesline. Oh, what's he doing? A JBL finish? Clothesline from hell. Rocker and King were cheered heavily by the racially diverse crowd in attendance, as reported by a correspondent. That's worth noting considering that Rocker made headlines for controversial comments that were widely regarded as racist, homophobic, and sexist. The guy was Kenny Powers before there was a Kenny Powers. Rocker is scheduled to return to the ring at the same venue. The date has not been officially set, but the show is expected to take place in November. Rocker will face Mr. Hughes, managed by Dave Wills, in the main event of the show. And I'll let you know as soon as that date is posted. Former WWE wrestler Lenny Poffo, the brother of Macho Man Randy Savage, will be making his New York stage debut at promotional night for the documentary film Teresa Sarajevo, Alive Again. Poffo appears in the film along with the actor Gary Sinise, and Saturday Night Live band member Sean Pelton. The promotional event takes place on October 5th, next week, at Gizzy's in New York, or is that Jeezy's? Poffo will be performing poetry, just like the Genius character in WWF, telling road stories, and taking part in a question and answer meet and greet. There was no cover charge to attend the event. For more information, visit Jizzy NYC. That's GIZZISNYC.com. Vintage Pro Wrestling is running a show in Sanford, Florida, on October 13th at the Sanford Salvation Army Gym at 700 West 24th Street. The show is headlined by Florida Rumble match in San Francisco Fiasco versus Eric Cooper. For more info on that show, visit VintageWrestlingFL.com. And now what everybody's been waiting for, Impact Wrestling results from tonight. Aired live from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. Previously aired on Impact segment. And Hogan makes his entrance with Sting's bat. Hogan told Aces and Eights that they have a date. Hogan mentioned Devon's contract was falling through their hands and said that tonight at Impact, the championship has been stripped. And it's Championship Thursday. They will crown a new TV champion tonight in one match. Hogan turns his attention to James Storm and Bobby Roode. He said things were out of control, so they would settle their differences in a street fight at Bound for Glory's pay-per-view in 3 weeks with a special enforcer that will be revealed next week. He said it would be King Mo, and he would make an appearance next week. Thank goodness, I was almost intrigued there. Hogan recounted Aces and Eights transgressions to date. Hogan reiterated that he was going to their clubhouse, even if he had to do so alone. Well, Sting took this invitation and came to the ring. And he said he wouldn't let Hogan go alone. Hogan said that they need a second bat. A very solid opener that set the pieces in place for tonight. Well, when I previously said that Hogan is best in small doses, this is the role I was thinking of. He fired up the crowd and set up the evening very well and wasn't called upon to act. Then we get a Mr. Anderson's Bound for Glory memory. It was Bound for Glory on October 10, 2010. 10. Match number 1. Kurt Angle with AJ Styles versus Chavo Guerrero with Hernandez versus Christopher Daniels with Kazarian. The faces ganged up on Daniels early. Kazarian tripped Chavo on, and all 6 men got in the ring to argue as the show goes to commercial. Back from the break, all partners were kicked out of the match and sent to the back. Kurt Angle was firmly in control, and he worked over both men for a spell. Chavo hits 3 Amigos on Daniels, but was cut off by Kurt when he tried for the frog splash. Daniels rolled up Chavo as he argued with Kurt for the surprise victory. Schoolboy roll up, surprise. And that match took 8 minutes 20 seconds out of our lives. Hogan conducting the first round of Championship Thursday elimination backstage as he also in that first segment announced that he would have a meeting with Mr. Anderson, Samoa Joe, Brutus Magnus, and Garrett Bischoff, of all people. Hogan eliminated Magnus first because he didn't want to listen to Magnus and Joe argue anymore. So that was into that segment. Tara was on the phone with her supposedly boyfriend when Brooke Hogan showed up and told her that she had to earn her title shot in any match. And that was basically that segment. Goodness, they packed a lot into one segment. I'm still not a fan of the backstage eliminations with Hogan, as they are just another source to overexpose the man. But this was one of the better elimination segments, as they kept it nice and sweet. We've seen in a long time. I'm not sure if anyone should be taking Bischoff seriously, as he hasn't been on TV for a very long time. My guess was that they were going to make it two matches into one. It's like the winner faces the winner for the finals. Well, that didn't work out. Okay, the Knockouts match was up next. Since Brooke made her the match, and she didn't even tell her who her opponent was. So we get Tara versus mystery opponent, and it's none other than ODB with Eric Young. For the number 1 contendership to the TNA Knockouts Championship, ODB dominated the majority of the match, and Tara supposedly tweaked her knee on the floor, and she was unable to make it to her feet. ODB persisted, however, and ended up getting a roll up for the 1, 2, 3. Well, during the match, I was predicting this myself. And that match took 4 minutes and 40 seconds out of our lives. A preview for the gut check judging was shown. Solid work from both women. Tara seems so much alive in the heel role again. and she's really having fun with the character. Bruce Pritchard gave Al Snow hell for getting physically involved with a citizen. Pritchard said Snow is no longer a wrestler. He's an executive in TNA. Pritchard then mentioned that the legal trouble TNA is already going through. Taz entered and said that they moved on to Evan Markopoulos. They all agreed that he had promise for a kid who was only 18 and he has a passion for the sport. So brought up how hard it can be on a wrestler and questioned if an 18-year-old is mature enough to take the role. And that ended that segment. Bully Ray was backstage with Harvey and asked him who his partner was going to be tonight. Ray gave him a non-answer and told the camera man to shoot his calves. And that ended that segment. Hogan spoke with the three men in the hallway, and he pondered if Garrett Bischoff could hang with Anderson or Samoa Joe. Hogan put over Garrett, but he said it wasn't his time. Very wise move. Well, this to me was like an Alex Wright thing when Sting interfered when Alex Wright was about to beat Flair back in WCW. And as they go to commercial. To be clear, I have no issues with Garrett. He's green, yeah, he's young, but he's no longer being shoved down our throats as the best thing in TNA. He simply hasn't received an ounce of attention, and if he's anywhere near where he wrestled the last time he was on television, then he wouldn't be fit to be in any gut check match, let alone trying to get over on a title early on in his career for being for the prestige. All right, that ended that segment, that little thing. And next up was Bobby Roode informing Austin Aries that he would be teaming with Bully Ray tonight against Austin Aries and Jeff Hardy. Roode then talked up Aries for a bit and compared him to Hardy to plant some seeds of jealousy, which basically ended that segment. Match number 3, Samoa Joe versus Mr. Anderson for the television title. Samoa Joe took the early advantage and went for the rear naked choke. Unsuccessful. And also Anderson went for his mic check. And Joe blocked it as well. So far, we like the sense of urgency to get it over with within less than 30 seconds. Joe locked in the rear naked choke, and Anderson tried to crawl to the ropes, but Joe kept switching the hold around and bringing him back to the middle of the ring, hooking an arm, and Anderson eventually passed out. He didn't tap out, he passed out. Samoa Joe defeated Mr. Anderson in 4 minutes 59 seconds to become the new TNA TV champion. A red tinted hype video aired of Hogan and Aces and Eights. Hogan was backstage talking to Sting. A crew member showed up and had Hogan sign some documents for Bruce Pritchard. When Aces and Eights appeared descending on a pair, well, this was a girl, a little small, I say woman, and she sprayed some stuff in both Hogan and Sting's faces to get their distraction. And the Aces and Eights started beating them down for a little while, put bags over their heads, tied them up, threw them in a van, and drove off. Well, I enjoyed the match and really enjoyed the way Joe was so active and kept switching the hold to keep Anderson from the ropes. It made the tired way of handling submission finishers feel fresh. Okay, they went for a commercial after that. They come back from the commercial, replayed the attack of the Aces and Eights on Hogan and Sting. I'm not sure what we saw earlier, but it could have sworn that it was Hogan on the ground. Someone called Liam Neeson, the A-Team, you know. And then we get the gut check judging that began with Evan Markopoulos making his way to the ring. He was wearing pants this week, which helped offset his small frame that made him look younger than he already is. Markopoulos said he got his ass kicked, but he was here tonight. Taz said yes, to the decision. Pritchard said no. What an asshole. And Markopoulos gave his kick-out promo, being the deciding decision. He said he basically told Snow, and if he was when he got into the wrestling business, he wasn't that young, but he got his shot, so now it's his turn. So he kisses Snow's ass and mentioned where Snow was or his career at his age when Markopoulos was born. He strangely promised to get his ass kicked every night and to learn from it. Way to sell yourself, bud. Snow said Markopoulos is the epitome of gut check and had the passion he needed for the business, but he is just too young, so he voted no. Well, Bane from Aces and Eights was staying in Hogan back at their clubhouse, and he said the boss is on his way as they go to commercial. I made my feeling on how TNA has handled gut check before now, so I won't get into that much more. I simply say that this did nothing to me to make me care for it either way anymore. And they really need to shake this formula up. And then we get Magnus Bound for Glory moments, including winning the TNA tag titles as part of British Invasion. And then we get Bane, they're showing Bane back in the clubhouse. Bane Sr. showed up and sat with his back to Hogan and Sting. This voice kind of did sound like Joseph Park himself, or Abyss's voice. Then they showed what looked like to be Joseph Park, but I couldn't tell because they had him all taped up, tied up, and basically no glasses, so it could really look more like Bruce Pritchard than it did Joseph Park. Even the hair color changed. Well, they supposedly tied him to a table and told Hogan to bring two guys from out to Bound for Glory for them to take on the two Aces of Eight guys. Hogan said he and Sting would fight them. Bane Sr. said that it wasn't about Hogan. He said if they win, they get the Aces and Eights are gone from TNA. But if Hogan guys win, if Aces and Eights guys win, they're in TNA. But if they lose, they're gone from TNA. Hogan told them to let Park go now. Bane Sr. said Park is their insurance, and he will be let go once the match is over at Bound for Glory. Next up, we got Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries. We're showing split screen walking through the back, heading to the ring. Hardy has some very lime green paint on, and it kind of looked like Incredible Hulk a little bit. So it just briefly scared people out of their wits. But when I looked at the television, if you're watching late, you've been warned. Commercial break. I'm glad that TNA found a way to up the stakes and have the big daddy of Aces and Eights appear without making himself known. All you can see clearly was his ears. This story has been treading water for a few weeks, and it needed something to keep things interesting. Well, they just did by a hair, the chinny chin chin. And then they replayed a chunk of the Aces and Eights videos. Taz and Tenay ran down the Bound for Glory card. James Storm spoke backstage about why he was pleased with Hogan's announcement and how he was happy King Mo would be raising his hand at Bound for Glory. He apologized for Rude's condemned look. Condemned luck. Okay. Bully Ray and Bobby Roode versus Austin Aries and Jeff Hardy was your main event. Ray and Hardy started the match, but they quickly tagged out. Hardy showed up Aries when he took out both Ray and Roode, and Aries looked pissed going into the break as they cut to commercial. Back from the break, Hardy was in control, but Roode swept his legs as he went for a moonsault, and then he landed awkwardly. This was kind of like a botch by Bobby Roode. He could have really injured Jeff. And the heel took control and began working over Hardy. Hardy got a tag off to Aries, but Aries was quickly overwhelmed, and the heels turned to working over on the champion. A double made a comeback and locked into Lance Chantrell Rude, but Ray broke the hold. Hardy managed to overcome Rude and put him away with a swanton as he Hardy blind tagged himself in, and Austin Aries just was teasing him that I'm not tagging you in. Well, he just backed up close enough, and Hardy right on the back of his shoulder, real hard enough. Said, "Damn it, I'm on in." Okay, so and Hardy then jumps on top rope, swanton bomb. Much to Aries arguing with him after the match was over. So Austin Aries and Jeff Hardy defeated Bobby Roode and Bully Ray in 13 minutes 55 seconds. Ace and Ace dropped off Hogan and staying back in the Impact Zone parking lot and threatened to burn Park if they didn't behave. They had one of the little clip things with a flame on it. Yeah, it's like a clicker. Okay, well, that was a decent show, but they're still failing to make it feel like the biggest show of the year is right around the corner. And Hogan was overexposed again, way too much. And they did give us some good wrestling and are at least beginning to set up the stories for Bound for Glory. And you still have 2 weeks before the Bound for Glory's pay-per-view. And that ends my results for this week. Thanks for watching. Peace out. God bless. For TNA. Stay tuned. Well, I've already did the SmackDown, so that'll be stay tuned for Monday night's Raw live show. Peace out.